Hey guys, what's up? Derek from Bomb Socks here. Good to be with you for another episode of Bomb Bites, where we're helping you feast upon the words of Christ, one bite at a time. Boy, wasn't Alma 5 awesome? I love that. Hopefully you got a chance to be able to really study Alma 5 and do that good spiritual evaluation as you go through those questions. If not, take some time maybe this week as you're taking the sacrament on Sunday and see how maybe you can find ways to improve yourself in any way. I love that chapter right there. So chapter 6 is kind of unique. It's only 8 verses, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time here. But there's a couple of good verses that I wanted to focus on for today's episode. If you look at verses 4 and 5, now I guess to give you a little bit of context here, Alma is getting the church in order. In Zarahemla, apparently Alma chapter 5 worked, and the people really started to change. This prideful, contentious group of people really were affected by these questions. So you go down to verses number 4 and 5. It says, "And thus they began to establish the order of the church in the city of Zarahemla." So Alma's getting stuff all organized. "Now I would that you should understand that the word of God was liberal unto all." That's a great statement right there. "That none were deprived of the privilege of assembling themselves together to hear the word of God." That idea of the word of God being liberal unto all. So the word liberal means marked by generosity, given or provided in an open-handed way, which means this gospel is available to all. Now, all is a pretty high percentage of God's children. It's available to all of them. And as I was thinking about this, I remember a video from Elder Bednar that I saw years ago. He went over to England and he gave this particular message to a group, and I love it. So as you watch this, keep in mind this idea of the Word of God is liberal to all, and then we'll come back and finish it up. Oh, thou lovest me, I give thee my strength, my
I served as the president of Brigham Young University, Idaho for almost 8 years. One Friday night, my wife and I were speaking to a group of approximately 250 students. It was a leadership retreat, and they had had workshops about leadership and so forth. And to conclude it, my wife and I met with this group of 250 students. The population of the student body at the time was approximately 12,000 students. We need to keep that in mind. 250, 12,000. As we were concluding our time with those young people that night, I just had what I thought was kind of a crazy idea. I said, "Are you willing to participate in an experiment with me?" And they said, "Sure." This was on Friday night. The following Tuesday, Elder Eyring of the Quorum of the 12 and the Church Commissioner of Education was coming to BYU, Idaho to speak. I said to these 250 students, "We determine what an apostle will say. We can pull things out of him if we are prepared. Are you willing to prepare?" And they said, "Yeah." I said, "I can't tell you how to prepare, but you prepare spiritually to come and be taught by a member of the Quorum of the 12. And then I said, "Now, as an outward manifestation of your inward preparation, I want you to wear your absolute Sunday best." We invited the young people to always dress appropriately and dress up for devotional. But I said, "I don't want you just wearing a white shirt and a tie and Dockers. If you have a suit, you wear a suit. To you sisters, no flip-flops and khaki skirts. If you've got a dress, you wear a dress." Now, it's not about what you wear. It's about a representation of your inner spiritual preparation. Are you ready for that? We all do that. They said, "Yeah." I said, "Now here's the experiment. Will each of you go invite 5 other people to do the same thing? And do it in a way that those 5 will each go get 4. So that each of those 4 will go get 3. Each of those 3 will go get 2, and each of those 2 will go get 1. Now you do the math, that's a lot more than 12,000. They all said, "We will do that." I said, "Great." Tuesday, I walked onto the campus of Brigham Young University, Idaho with 12,000 students. The devotional is at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Tuesday. It looked just like this crowd right here. Every young man was in a sport coat or a suit. Every young woman was in a dress. There were like 6 kids who came to the campus who didn't know, and they looked at this, I got to go home and change my clothes. They didn't know what was going on. When Elder Eyring walked into the Hart Auditorium and he saw these kids, he turned to me and he said, "What is this?" And I said, "Elder Eyring, this is for you. This is our invitation to be taught. We're ready." And he began to weep. How do you go from Friday night with 250 to Tuesday at 2 o'clock with 12,000 plus? And everybody got it. One by one. We tend to want to think about, we're going to give a talk and no, it's not. Just get one. Who will go get one? Who will go get one? Who will go get one? I have not come to England to be in this meeting. Now I'm here, and I love this, and we're doing important things, but that's not why I'm here. While I'm in England, the Lord sent me to find a one. And along the way, I get to participate in a bunch of meetings. And maybe some good will be done. But the keys of the kingdom were sent here to find a one. You don't talk to a congregation, you talk to assembled ones. So just go get one. Who will get one? Who will get one? And that's how it works, and that's how you establish the kingdom, and that's ultimately how thousands come.
Okay, so I love that message right there. Here's Elder Bednar say, you go after the one. And as you do that, we'll see what starts happening here. Now, you and I are in kind of a unique situation right now to where church attendance is it's different for all of us. Some of us are just easing our way back in, and I totally understand that. But there is going to be a point, and hopefully sooner than later, where things are going to be back to some semblance of normal. So I want you, since Elder Bednar said talk to the one, I'm going to talk to you, the one. I want you to think about someone that you could invite to church. Now again, sometimes we get so hung up on inviting people to church that we forget our whole goal is to invite them to come unto Christ. And as we get them invited to Christ, they're going to find their way to church. But it's a nice start to be able to get some people back. I love how we've had this time period because we've all been kind of inactive for a long time. And so now it's a great opportunity to invite someone to come back. Now, in the invitation process, let me remind you of something from Elder Anderson. Neil L. Anderson said this: "We respect each person's choice and timing. The Lord said, 'Let every man choose for himself.' This is a key element. A person's lack of interest need not diminish our bonds of friendship and love. Whether or not the invitation is accepted, as you invite others to come and see, you will feel the approval of the Lord, and with that approval, an added measure of faith to share your beliefs again and again." So just remember that word of God is liberal unto all of God's children. So let's give them an opportunity to be able to hear that. Anyway, that's just a little challenge I wanted to offer to you today. Just a little thing from Alma chapter 6. Tomorrow we're getting into one of the coolest chapters. I know I say that all the time, but it's true. Alma chapter 7. Hey, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.